Football Manager 2023 has been out less than 24 hours and already the game has managed to f*** me. William Saliba, broken leg, out for 5 to 7 months. One of our best players, a player who I intended to build the defence around, and he's out for most of the season. I'll promise you I'm absolutely fine with this. I'm not fine. It's not good. It's not good. How's it going, folks? And welcome back to episode number 2 here with Arsenal in the FM23 beta. If you're sat here thinking, episode number 2? Yeah, this is episode number 2. Episode number 1 went up earlier today, so if you haven't already seen that, go check it out. Series playlist down in the description. Today we're back to kick off our season. Our opening game is against Southampton away. A game that, in theory, should be straightforward. They are predicted to be in a relegation battle, weren't predicted to be in a Champions League battle, but football very rarely works out that way. And of course, as you already saw in the intro, one of my best players, William Saliba, injured for a long time. We've sent him to a specialist for his broken leg. There's a small chance he might be back by around January. In some ways, the Winter World Cup might help us out. But nevertheless, with this injury, I did have to alter the transfer plans quite a lot. And well, when it comes to the transfer market, we have been busy. Less than £1 million left in the transfer budget. All of the wage budget I was given spent up. And to be honest, the Saliba injury did have to change my recruitment plans a little. So when it came to the new additions, 4 new signings made, wanted to get in some quality in depth and also some players who could potentially grow into the first team. We have a young squad. I wanted to keep more youngsters coming in. That's very much been the name of the game, but of course that first transfer I needed to get done was a centre-back. In the end, I've gone with Diakaibi here, French centre-back, 25 years old, comes in to really be a backup to Saliba, who, if we just compare him with, you can see they are cut from a very similar cloth, perhaps lacks a little bit in the quality department. However, at the end of the day, we've signed him for 8.5 million, which I think is a really good bargain buy for a player of his quality. Great heading, great jumping reach. I think he could be a little bit of a weapon from set pieces. In terms of where he fits into the squad kind of quality, you can see here, of course, got Ben White and Saliba. With Saliba out injured, Gabriel is going to be the man we call upon. To be honest, there was an argument to say he could have been starting ahead of Ben White or Saliba come the start of the season anyway. But with the injury, Gabriel will be our starter, and as a result of the injury, Diakaibi, who we brought in, is going to be that squad player for us. A go-to backup centre-back option. We've talked about the packed schedule with the World Cup previously. That is going to be a factor. Hopefully this man is going to alleviate a little bit of a strain that could have potentially come up with our defence that really does lack a little bit of depth across the board. Elsewhere in the team, El Neni is our go-to backup defensive midfielder, but in the final year of his contract at 30 years old, I needed to get in a little bit of an understudy, and I feel like we've done that with Rodrigo Villegura. This guy is, as you can see here, 21 years old, Argentine youth international, come in at just £18,000 a week, a bargain buy really as well at 6.5 million, was previously playing in the Argentine Premier Division. I like the look of him a lot. His physicals leave a little bit to be desired, but at 21 there's room to grow. He's a consistent performer, and really the name of the game with this man was defensive ability. 16 aggression, 16 positioning, great marking, great tackling. I love the fact he's also got 14 passing and 15 vision. Within our style of play, I want to build out from the back. I need players capable of passing. He ticks a lot of those boxes when it comes to what I'm looking for, and whilst I don't expect him to play a load in the first team this year, don't be surprised if he makes an appearance or two. The final of the new additions in terms of younger players is Andreas Sheldorup. This man, 18 years old, Norwegian international at youth level. If you played Football Manager last year, you probably saw this guy pop up in your save games. He is absolutely ridiculous. Amazing technically, amazing when it comes to his speed, although what I will say is the rest of his physicals are a little bit on the lower side, shall we say. Loads and loads of room to grow. A player who I think will get a little bit of first team football this year, alongside the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe. He is really going to slot in and add some immediate quality in terms of younger players. One player who I have had to renew the contract of recently, this man, Reece Nelson. A good player, but at 22 years old, the kind of player who I might look to cash in on. With Andreas coming into the team, with Reece Nelson now signing a new deal, I feel like we have enough depth in the wider attacking midfield areas that I don't need to worry quite so much. And to be honest, when I now look across the team, I do feel like we've got adequate depth just about everywhere. Of course, the Saliba injury absolutely sucks, but with Diakaibi coming into the team, we have that one extra centre-back that I think we needed. In the defensive midfielder position, of course, we've got Villegura, who is a really, really solid option at 21 years old. We've talked already about Andreas down here at the bottom, but there is one final player I signed, and the reason I signed him is because, to be frank, when it comes to striking options, we don't have a whole lot of options. Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli, and Nketiah, and then the new addition, which people are going to think I'm taking the mick with, but I'm not. Graziano Pelle has joined us. Of course, this man played for Southampton for a couple of years. Then he went off to China. I wanted a fourth choice striker. I had no money left, so I went and got a big, meaty man in Graziano, who at 37 years old is just a tall target man, emergency striker option. Yeah, beggars can't be choosers. He was better than any of the loan options available. He's here for a year. If he scores, we'll have a party or something. So with the new signings and the Saliba injury, this is the team that I think is our strongest 11, at least to start the season. Loads of quality, loads of depth now. I'm a big, big fan of where this squad is heading. In goal, we've got Ramsdale. Of course, Gabriel comes in to join that back four we talked about last episode. In the centre of the midfield, I'm in a bit of a weird situation. I like Zinchenko, I like Xhaka. There wasn't any interest in Thomas Partey, although this year he's largely going to be a backup. Xhaka, of course, in real life has been given this newfound permission to get forward and up the pitch under Arteta. For us, he is going to be playing as one of the more holding centre mids. What I will say with Xhaka is, he doesn't really fit any player role whatsoever. Like, maybe centre mid on attack is one of his better roles, but with 10 composure, I feel like he can't really play as a playmaker with his passing and vision. You can't really play him as a ball-winning midfielder as such, because whilst he's got good aggression, his tackling and marking are a little bit meh. Just in general, there's no role where I think he's the perfect fit. Xhaka is just a weird player in Football Manager. I don't really know what to do with him. So if you've got any ideas, let me know. Alongside him, we've got Zinchenko, who perhaps is just slightly better going forward. At 25 years old, Zinchenko can play absolutely anywhere. For us in the team, he is going to play as a box-to-box midfielder. I want to make the most of his physicals, particularly his stamina and his work rate, but of course, he's got that composure. His passing and vision mean that whilst he isn't a slouch, he's not exactly the playmaker-y type. And as a result of that, I do want him to be a player kind of making surging runs and not needing to make quite as ambitious passes as perhaps Xhaka will alongside him from deeper areas of the pitch. The final four kind of been the go-to four from the beginning. Martinelli is going to start the season as an inside forward. Saka is going to start as an inverted winger out on the right-hand side. I feel like this man is just ready-made for this role, and whilst his finishing is a little bit lacking, I kind of have faith that if he gets into attacking areas, he will be able to find the target. Martin Odegaard, first and foremost, a creative force in this team, and I'm kind of keen to see how he interacts with Gabriel Jesus, playing as a complete forward on attack. Complete forward on attack used to be one of my favourite roles in Football Manager, but over the last few years, it's been a little bit meh. And whilst Gabriel Jesus, he's not the craziest player when it comes to his jumping reach, he is still an incredibly complete player with 14 passing, with 14 vision. He has got the ability to pick out a pass. And with a centre attacking mid as an advanced playmaker on attack, perhaps running on ahead of him, but with those players in the wider areas definitely getting on in ahead of him, I want him to not just be the spearhead of our attack, but also a player who can kind of look to either side of him and hopefully have a whole host of passing options. When it comes to instructions with our team, I want to play a really sexy, appealing style of football. I want us to be as possession orientated as we can be. With that in mind, shorter passing, standard tempo, playing it out from the back. I am going to be looking for our wing backs to play on the overlap. Tierney has a little bit more, I suppose, in the way of physicals compared to Tomiyasu out on the other side. As a result, we're going to play him as a wing back on attack. In transition, we do want to look to play out from the back. Our defenders are good in possession, as are our more deeper midfielders. Out of possession, we are going to be playing a high line, looking to force teams high up the pitch, and then we can look to exploit wider areas of the pitch as teams are caught in transition. You'll be pleased to know I did manage to hire some new physios. We are no longer below average in the Premier League, so big thumbs up to me, pat on the back. That's one good job done. If I was going to be hypercritical of our team, I do feel like in goal we are lacking a little bit. That said, we just don't have the money to sign another goalkeeper. So behind Ramsdale, Matt Turner is going to be the go-to option. Besides that though, there's not a whole lot going on at the club right now. One thing I am keen to sort out is some contracts. Martinelli, Saka and Saliba all have contracts expiring at the end of next season. Considering they are some of our best young players, kind of want to have them on more than 2-year-long deals. In the case of Saliba, with his injury, maybe we have to rethink just how soon we approach things with him in terms of offering him a new deal. If he was to get injured repeatedly, I might not want to have him on a long-term option. As for Martinelli and Saka, we don't have a load of money to offer them new contracts now anyway, but I'm keen to see just if they live up to my expectations to start the season. Based on how they kick on with things, that will probably shape how soon and how much I'm willing to offer them in terms of those new contracts. Now, given that we're playing on the Sunday, I thought I'd have a quick peek at the Premier League and see how other teams have got on to start the season. Man City already top, Erling Haaland already has a hat-trick. This man was terrifying last year in Football Manager. Somehow he looks even more scary this year. I feel like he's going to ruin the hopes and dreams of many, just like he did in FM22. How has he got better this year? As much as I want to worry about Erling Haaland and Man City, perhaps I should really focus on what's out in front of us today. Southampton. We've covered our tactics, we've covered our transfers. I feel prepared for this one. I'm hoping that we're going to get off to a good start to this season with an away win. I don't think this is the most simple game in the world, though, I'll be honest. We've already talked about what I think is our best starting 11 for the season, but over on the bench we have options too. Diakaibi and Andreas, of course, new signings. Alongside them, the likes of Fabio Vieira, Emil Smith-Rowe and Nketiah. Very creative players that I think we can bring on to truly change the game if we need to. And of course, with 5 subs, don't be surprised to see us making a few tweaks and changes as this game goes on. Yeah, this is the kind of game where if things aren't going to plan, there's definitely plan Bs. Of course, if we need to shut up shop at the end, there are some pretty good defensive options as well. Okay, look, this is a big moment. First team talk with the players for a professional game. I'm going with the pump the fist. We're the favourites out there. No one cares. Can I make anyone happy? I was hoping for a sea of green, happy, smiley faces. Instead, Martinelli, Saka and Ben White, they care. They're the good eggs in this team. Everyone else, traitors, backstabbers, I already hate them. So just looking at Southampton's team, they've got Addons up front. We've got to be wary of him. Of course, Ward-Prowse is just an absolute weapon when it comes to set pieces. Perhaps the best set piece taker in Football Manager. Somewhat concerned about that. People always ask this, what are my camera settings? I play with TV camera, lowest height, max zoom, match speed during highlights, 1 notch from the middle, and, well, you can see the rest of the highlights here. I think we'll keep on TV camera for replays as well. Into this game against Southampton we go, looking for a dream start to the season. They're playing the same formation as us, the 4-2-3-1, although I think they're playing it with 2 defensive mids. And we do have a first highlight. It's going to be a corner to us. Martin Odegaard over it. We've got some big players forward. Gabriel is one of them. He is perhaps our best header of the ball. He couldn't get there, but the ball is cleared to Odegaard, who is bundled down in the box. And inside the first 7 minutes, the first game of the season, we could have some drama. VAR are reviewing it. They are checking this penalty. The penalty has been awarded. And with that, a chance to get off to the dream start to the season. Gabriel Jesus, the new signing, the man who has to be, you know, targeting 20 goals for this season in the league, I feel like. And within inside the first 10 minutes, he gets goal number 1. Good start to the year, a penalty, not the most sexy or pretty goals, but they all count. We're going to take it. And, well, he sent the keeper the wrong way. Confident finish, a confident start. Hopefully we can get a few more before this game's done. Set piece for Southampton. Ward-Prowse whipping in. Salisu is unmarked there. We get it away just about, but not before the ball's hit the post. Could we catch them out on the break now? Saka's bringing it forward. Gabriel Jesus was all on his lonesome. He does need to watch the offsides because he was a little bit keen to make a run forward there, but I thought for a second maybe a chance of a counter-attack. We do still have the ball here as it's ping-ponging around in the middle. Ben White now with it as we look to build out from the back. Of course, our instructions to play out from the back to look for overlaps, and we're looking to do that right now. Saka bringing it forward. Players queuing up in the middle. Tackle goes in. He still has it, though. Tomiyasu with time and space to lay it to Zinchenko. Martinelli, Tierney, Martinelli. The build-up play superb. The goal is beautiful. Saka scores it. And there's no VAR check here, which I thought there might be. I thought for a second there was a hint of offside. There isn't. It's one of the most pretty goals I've seen in Football Manager ever. It all came from an initial set piece from Southampton. We weathered the storm. We worked it around nicely. Martinelli played it across the line. Caballero in goal, caught in no man's land. And with it, we double our lead. I mean, last time Southampton had a set piece, we scored. Can we have the same again, please? Ward-Prowse, with his 20 corner taking, is going to be the man to take it. He whips it in. Gabriel heads it away from danger. But, well, the ball is not out of harm's way yet. Ryerson, with an effort from range, is deflected off Tierney. And we've had 3 goals inside the first 20 minutes. Kieran Tierney has scored an own goal. We've scored all 3 goals. I mean, what do you say about this? Ward-Prowse with the ball in the wide area, lays it off to Ryerson, who hits it, and Tierney sticks out a leg. I don't know if he had to do that. Maybe he did. There was a man next to him. Either way, he's guided it into the back of the net, and it's 2-1 here. What an absolutely insane start to this game. Less than half an hour in, we've had a ton of goals. We've had a ton of action. Just looking at performances, Saka and Martinelli looking really, really solid for us. Gabriel Jesus with that penalty goal looking good too. Ben White on an early yellow card scares me slightly, but as we quickly approach half-time, we are still in the lead and we might have a chance of our own here. Odegaard lays it to Gabriel, who heads it just over the bar. That was nearly a chance from that set piece to double our lead again. Arsenal corner, dangerous area. Martin Odegaard, captain fantastic over it, puts it in. That ball was not fantastic. Southampton come away with it. Diallo lays it back to Aribo. Could they look to catch us out here on the counter? They didn't really have too many players left up the pitch. But as they look to commit men forward and break away, Saka is able to break it down. And well, from the back, we look to build again. We've already scored one really, really nice passing goal. Could this end up with another good goal at the end of it? Tierney with the ball, gives it to Zinchenko, back to Gabriel, looking to try and bait out a press from Southampton. We want them to commit men up the pitch, create some space in behind to perhaps exploit. And well, speaking of exploiting space in behind, Ramsdale goes route one, gives it to Gabriel Jesus, who slots it away for his 2nd goal of the season. That was a little bit bizarre, wasn't it? Ramsdale just launches it through the middle. Gabriel Jesus picks up the ball. Caballero looks to come out, then decides to track back. In the end, he's in no man's land, and it's tucked away. 3-1 here, a crucial goal before half-time. I imagine that's going to change Hasselhortel's half-time talk a little bit. As for our own, I'm just going to go with, I'm very pleased. Look at all these green, happy, smiley faces. Much better than what we saw before the game. Set piece for Southampton. I feel like we're seeing lots of set pieces to start highlights. This one, though, is going to be dealt with by us. Our centre-back, Gabriel, cut out of position a little bit, lays it forward to Saka. Now get back in position, please. Saka, though, looking to cut inside, perhaps on his left foot as the inverted winger. Lays it inside. It's blocked away once, blocked away twice. In the end, the keeper doesn't just about manage to clutch onto it, but that was a decent opportunity for us. And well, one chance going our way, maybe a chance for another. That said, we do turn over possession. Martinelli and Armstrong battling away on the far side. Ball dinked forward by Southampton to Chan, who's in a wide area. Players in the middle, and well, he doesn't need anyone in the middle. He's going to go all on his own. I don't know where Ramsdale was there. He looked absolutely lost without a paddle. Almost looked like he forgot where his goal was, to be honest, the keeper. It's not been a great defensive performance, has it, by either team, this one? Ramsdale just lost. The ball ends up in the back of the net. It's 3-2 here. I mean, it's not a boring start to the series, is it? Odegaard over the ball with his left foot, whipping it in, headed goalwards and headed into the back of the net. It's a set-piece goal, which I love to see. Gabriel with it. Of course, he has only really come into the team to start ahead of Saliba because of the broken leg, but he looks like he wants to make a name for himself here. He leaps highest, and that header, perfectly placed into the top corner. It's 4-2. We've only played 52 minutes. Okay, I feel like I've seen enough to make some earlier changes in this game. Xhaka's not having the best of games. I'm going to bring in El Neni. Zinchenko's not been great, so I'm going to bring in Thomas Partey as well. Not overly convinced by Tierney at left back on a 6.5 as things stand, but I think at least for now we'll leave him on. Got to remind myself, I do have 5 subs. I can go a little bit crazy with the changes. And, well, I'm not going to change any of the front 4, despite all those attacking talents that we have, because, frankly, we look quite good going forward. An XG of 3.32. We have created more than Southampton. We have scored more than Southampton. We've had 63% of the ball as well. There's lots of reasons for positives, and to be honest, I don't feel like it's all said and done yet. I feel like there could be more in this game than what we've already seen. Surely there's more goals. We've had 6 already. Could we have 7 or 8? We sit here in eager anticipation as Southampton have the ball at the back. Caballero, who's not been the best of goalkeepers in this game, continuing to have a bad day at the office. Not a good ball out from the back by him. We retain possession, and again, we are going to look to play it around the back. Partey leaves it for El Neni. Forward to Saka on this near side. Options in the middle. Can he pick someone out? Gives it back to El Neni, who's going to shoot from range. I didn't realise El Neni had that in his locker. Maybe he didn't either. He's hit the crossbar with that effort from range. We do still have the ball here, though. It's Odegaard with it. Saka through on goal. One-on-one. Can he finish it? He can, but the flag is raised. You know what? Martinelli's on a booking. This feels like a good excuse to bring in Andreas and see what he can do. 18 years old, Norwegian youth international, arriving on the big stage. Let's see what he can do in this remaining 15 minutes. 5 minutes left here. Andreas yet to have an immediate impact, although apparently he's on a 7.0 rating, which, considering he's done absolutely nothing, isn't too bad. Ever since I said, oh, maybe there's going to be a few more goals. You know, we've already had so many with 6 goals scored so soon. There's got to be more. There hasn't been more. We're very quickly approaching the end of this game, but maybe, just maybe, we can create one last opportunity, perhaps even for Southampton. The ball is given away. Mara gets on the end of it, and Sekou Mara makes it 4-3. Do I need to panic slightly? Just looking at things, Southampton have gone to a 4-2-4. I have been told this year that the AI managers get way more aggressive in games when they're chasing. If they feel like the game is there for the taking, they will throw men forward. They will really try and get desperately that late last goal. With that in mind, I'm going to be a little reactive here. I think ahead of next episode, I need to set up kind of a plan B and plan C tactic where we do look to just see out games a little bit more. But right here and now, I am just going to look to shore things up, perhaps slightly defensively. Tierney is struggling, so I'm going to bring in Cedric at left back. I still want us to kind of hold on to the ball when we can and just play it out from the back. But I am going to ask the players just to time waste, not to rush it at teams just as much. And out of possession, I think we can just sit back a little bit if we so wish. Let's just try and see out this game. With 5 minutes left, I don't need any late drama. I don't need any nonsense. I just want a nice, relaxing end to my Football Manager game. Whether or not we're going to get that remains to be seen. Tomiyasu's through. I thought for a second he was going to score before the tactical changes happened. His effort's blocked. 5 minutes of added time. We've gone more defensive. I'm going to stay on positive because I want us to hold on to the ball. And well, it looks like just about for us, we're going to hold on here. 4-3 this game finishes. A 7-goal thriller to start. That game had no right to be as close as it was. But the big relief for us is we have come away with 3 points and, on the whole, pretty good team performance. So with that result, we are up to 5th in the league. You can see there was quite a lot of draws to start the season. A couple of teams yet to play. Of course, very early days. Probably shouldn't be focusing too much on the league table. You can see here, Saka picked up man of the match with an 8.3 rating. He's training well. He's playing well. I'm going to have to give him a new contract, aren't I? This is going to be annoying when he asks for £100,000 a week that I can't afford. Gabriel Jesus also got 2 goals in his debut, a 7.8 rating. You know what? We're going to give him some praise. Praise last game. You were superb. I feel like if Gabriel Jesus gets us to, I don't know, 25 league goals, we get Champions League football. If he doesn't, I don't know where the goals are necessarily going to come from. So a good little start to today's episode. After a wobbly start with the whole Saliba injury, I feel slightly more calm than I did, say, half an hour ago. In terms of the plan for next episode, Manchester United and Liverpool away are happening in the next month. We are going to come back for a double header of those games. Trips to Anfield, a trip to Old Trafford. Nice, simple games to start the season. Games that if we can get results in, I feel optimistic. If we get battered in them, there might be an element of doubt start to creep in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, like the last episode, do make sure to drop a like on it. It lets me know that you're enjoying the videos. If you've got any comments with regards to my transfer business, players I've signed, my tactics, anything really to do with the video, leave it down in the comments. Besides that, I will be back again tomorrow. Keep your eyes peeled on your sub box for not just episode 3, but a whole host of other Football Manager content. And well, until whenever I see you next, it is me, Jack, and I'll see you all next time. I'm out.